Alright, students, now let's start. Let's continue with our video explanation. We will go to question 15. Now, the circuit shown contains 4 lamps and 3 switches. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 lamps. Alright, the switches will be here. 1, 2, 3. 3 switches. Alright. Now, which switches must be closed to light up only lamps 1 and 3? Now, for this type of question, you will need to do trial and error. And if you try it, alright, you close switch 1. Okay, let's say I close this. Now I try to see the flow of the current. Now current will flow from here. Alright, going through, and it will reach lamp 1 because it forms a closed circuit. But the current can also flow towards lamp 3. Okay, and back to this terminal. Alright, so which switches must be closed to light up lamp 1 and 3? So answer is 1. Alright. If you try the other options, you will find that you will not be able to get 1 and 3, the first and lamp 1 and lamp 3 to be switched on. Now, what could another isotope of oxygen contain? Okay, so first let me just give you a basic understanding of chemistry. In this case, we understand that for atom, they have neutron and they also have proton. So they are actually kept in the center of the atom. Alright, so neutron is neutral, they doesn't have any charge, but proton is positive. And around it, you have electron. And electron is negative. Okay, negative. So, when we give you this information, for example, for oxygen, alright, oxygen, they will tell you is 16 and then maybe 8. Now, this 16, right, is referring to your atomic mass number, which is proton plus neutron. And for the bottom part, right, is your proton number. So this is proton number. If I give you this information, you can actually find out the number of neutrons you have. You just have to take this top number, 16 minus 8. You'll be able to find out the number of neutron. In this case, will be 16 minus 8 will be 8. Alright. So another information is this P plus N, we also call it the atomic mass number, which is also called the nuclear number. Alright, the word nuclear means is referring to nucleus, which is in the middle. Alright, and in the middle is where you have your neutron and proton, and they are the heavier particles. Alright, so they made up the mass of the atom. Alright, electron, it has their mass, but they are very, very light and insignificant. Okay, so one other example I have is like for fluorine, they have this information, 19 and 9. So what can we make out of it? Now we will know that it has 9 proton, and 19 minus 9 will give me 10, so they have 10 neutron. Alright, so these are the things that you need to know. Now how about electrons? Electrons, the number of electrons, right, will be the same as the number of protons, because remember the charge it has, proton is plus and electrons is minus. So if you have 5 protons, then the electrons will be also 5, so that they will match up together to give a neutral charge, alright, in the end. Okay, so the question say, what could another isotope of oxygen contain? Now, isotope, basically it means your elements, but they are the same elements, however they differ in neutron number. So the number of neutron they have is different. That's very weird, huh? Okay, everything is the same, proton and electrons will be the same, but the neutron number they have, right, the neutron number they have will be different. So they look the same, but they have different neutron number. We call them, they are isotopes, alright, of each other. Okay, so what could another isotope of oxygen contain? Now, I know oxygen got 8 protons. So because it has 8 protons, it must have 8 electrons. Okay, because the number of protons and electrons are the same. So you need to know this. And how do you get this information? We actually know as in this information, right, from the periodic table provided usually. Okay, they will give periodic table during exam. But for RSO, they may not give you. If they don't give you, then you are not expected to know. Alright. Okay, next. Now, which of the following pair of substances consists of a compound and a mixture? Now, the word compound, okay, let me highlight compound and then mixture. Compound is two or more elements chemically combined together. Okay, and mixture is like your rojak. All right, it is without chemical bonds. They are mixed together, but there's no bonds being formed. So if you look at the options, bronze is a mixture, brass is a mixture, it's not a compound, silicon is a compound, sodium chloride is a compound, magnesium oxide is a compound, ethanol is a compound, silver chloride is a compound, and steel is a mixture. Alright, so the answer would be D. Okay, now these are actually kind of like facts that they are found in the lower sec science textbook. So if you are not aware of all this, it is fine. Just do your usual reading. If you are revising for lower sec content, you will come across all these facts. Okay, so don't worry if you don't know it now, because you are in primary school, you may not be exposed to all this. Okay, but as you are chosen for the RSO, of course you are considered well read, so you may have come across all of this, and that will be great for you. Okay, next, number 18. Now, which of the following is the best conductor of electricity? Now, best conductor of electricity, I'll be thinking of metal. So, of course, my answer will be aluminium. Alright. Okay, 19. Elements D, E, F, and G have consecutive atomic numbers. Element G is a noble gas in the period 2 of the periodic table. Now, period 2 means the second row. Okay, second row. Now, which elements naturally occur as molecules consisting of two atoms? Okay, now this question, it will be, usually we won't be testing this if you don't have the periodic table, okay? But for your sake, later I'll show you a periodic table. Okay, now students, I have this periodic table over here. So they ask which elements naturally occur as molecules consisting of two atoms. Now, if you take a look at the periodic table, so what we have is period 2 is here, alright, and you have the lithium, beryllium, alright, this is barium, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. Now, what is so special is this lithium and beryllium, right? They are actually metal, right? So let me just put here, they are metal. Okay, and for the other elements over here, we want to know which elements naturally occur as molecules consisting of two atoms. All right, two atoms, which means diatomic. Okay, the word di means two, so diatomic. Now this is something factual you need to remember. Okay, so only this few. Okay, let me just highlight. NOF, C, chlorine, this is bromine, and iodine. Alright, so let me just box it up. Now these few, right, funny elements, they naturally occur as diatomic in nature. Alright, so these are the few elements that will occur as two atoms combined together, okay, in nature. But the question tells us that you have D, E, F, G, right? D, E, F, G, they have consecutive atomic numbers. So consecutive atomic numbers, it must be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so they are consecutive. But one other clue is they say G is a noble gas. Now, noble gas will be this part here. These are your noble gases. Okay, and because it's in one of them is found in the period 2, that means it must be neon. Alright, so this is a noble gas, which in this case must be G. So if this is G, then this must be NOF, right? Okay, this one is my neon. Okay, so G is done. That means my DEF, it has to be NOF. Alright, over here. Okay, so which elements naturally occur as molecules consisting of 2 atoms? Therefore, it must be these 3 elements, which is DEF. Alright, so the answer will be A. Now again, you might be wondering, like, how are you able to know that? Actually, this question, if you know that noble gas over here, element G is a noble gas, it is in this last column, then the rest of the options, which is your D, E, and F, it must be over here. These 3 elements, and these 3 elements happens to be in this group, right? They happen to be diatomic. Okay, so that's how you can get the answer very quickly already. Okay, because you eliminated G, you are left with only D, E, F. So that's the answer for this question. Okay, next, number 20. Now, the following table gives the colors of various indicators and the pH at which the color changes. So, which one of the following sets of colors will be obtained if when each indicator is added separately to pure water? The key term here is pure water. Now, pure water has a pH value. Now, pH is to measure how acidic or how alkaline the material is. So over here, or the liquid, we usually measure for liquid. So you have neutral, which has a pH value of 7. Now if you at the extreme end of 0, this is towards the acidic end, and you have 14, which is the alkaline side. So alkaline will be from 7 all the way to 14, and for acidic will be from 7 all the way, 0 to 7. Okay. Of course, 7 is neutral, which is the pH value of pure water. So if you compare, you will get the answer as D. Now, why? Now, if you try this turquoise blue, right, it says it will start to change at pH value of at 3. So we have 7. That means this will change. All right. So turquoise blue will change to yellow. Okay, and for Congo red, it will change at pH value 5, so it must change to red already. Okay, it will be red. For this last compound, phenolphthalein, it is colorless, but it will change only at a pH value of 10. That means it will remain unchanged. So it must be colorless. So the only option we have that is correct will be D. Okay, next. Question 21. Now this is biology. You got this question here, state the function of structure Z. Now I always like to label the different parts. So this is obviously the nucleus. Now this is your chloroplast. It's in green, chloroplast, green in my diagram, but yours you don't have. Now chloroplast, there's a function to it. Later we will talk about that. Now this is your mitochondria. Mitochondria. Okay, so mitochondria and chloroplast, they look slightly different. As you can see, this one has some structure around it. Inside there's some like little grooves to it. And of course, you got this part, the cell membrane. Cell membrane. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So what are their different function? Now, nucleus, the function basically is to control activities of the cell. Now, these are all factual questions, so you just have to remember them. And chloroplast is to make food using sunlight. So this is for option A. Mitochondria is to release energy during respiration. It has something to do with our metabolism. All right, you move, you need energy. You want to jump, you want to breathe. All this needs energy. All right. So mitochondria helps to regulate this releasing of energy, all right, during your respiration process. And of course, cell membrane is to control the movement of substances in and out of the cell. So answer must be B. Okay, that's the function of nucleus. Okay, now students, let's look at question 22. Now, question 22, you have these 4 test tubes. They are set up as shown. And you have 5 drops of hydrochloric acid. Now, hydrochloric acid is the acid that is found in the stomach. All right. So this question is to mimic the actions you see in your stomach. And of course, we have different enzymes being released in the body, and different enzymes actually help to break down different types of food. So for this lipase is to break down the fats, protease is to break down protein into amino acids, and amylase is to break down starch, like your potato, break down into sugars so that you can use them for the energy, all right? You derive energy from them. So egg white is a protein. So you have your different substance, W, X, Y, and Z put inside. So they are all very cloudy initially. However, there is only one test tube that turned clear. Now, test tube 3 turned clear means your egg white, something must have happened to it. So the protein in the egg white must have been broken down. So if you look at the options, I can see that for Y, right, it must be protease, because I need protease to break down the egg white. So with this in mind, the other options, I cannot have protease. So you see W, okay, that means if I see W has protease, all these are wrong. This is also wrong. And my answer is left with only B. Alright, so that's the answer. Okay, looking at question 23. Okay, this is a factual question. You have the food bolus moving down through the peristalsis. So, which of the following correctly identifies and describe the action on the muscle at Q? Now, this part is a contraction. Alright, so those that are relaxed, okay, is wrong. Okay, so cannot be A and C already. And what type of muscle would it be? Well, this is a circular muscle. It's going around. Okay, so answer must be B. Now, how about this longitudinal muscle? Now, longitudinal muscle basically are those muscles that run along the length of the muscle itself. All right, so this cannot be a longitudinal muscle. It must be circular because it's going around and trying to contract and push the foot down. Okay, question 24. Now, the diagram shows part of the human alimentary canal. Okay, again, you have the following parts. Now, let's label them. You have the esophagus. Okay, like this gullet. And number 2 will be your stomach. So, what does stomach do? Is basically to secrete, but in this case, it secretes acid and enzyme. Enzymes are basically the chemicals that will help to break down food into simpler substances. Okay, to digest food, in short. And number 3, you have pancreas. Now, pancreas actually help to produce enzymes to break down food. Same thing. And it's also used to regulate blood sugar. And number 4, basically this is your liver. So what does liver do? Now I don't have much space. I'm going to draw it here. I'm going to write it here. Detoxifies chemicals and drugs. and it also produce bile and proteins for blood clots. Oh, wrong. And etc. Of course, other processes you don't really need to know. How about this last part? Number 5 is actually the gallbladder. Okay, and it is used to store the bile. And bile is to break down fats also. Like lipase, okay, as I mentioned earlier. So, which two organs produce substances involved in the digestion of proteins? So now you want to talk about proteins. Of course, you have stomach. Okay, stomach, it produces a lot of enzymes to digest food. And you also have your pancreas. Okay, this part, pancreas, it produces enzymes to break down the food. So answer will be B. Okay, last question. Now the diagram shows part of a xylem. What's the function of the spiral structure? Now this is a factual question. All this spiral structure is actually used to support this this vessel, okay, so that it will not collapse. So answer is D. Okay, children, we have come to the end of this section. If you still have any question you want to ask, you can bring up in the Google Classroom. Just type and then I will answer from there. Alright, so 2 weeks from now, you should complete your set B. If you have done so already, that's good. But I will release a video 2 weeks from now. Then we will discuss further in the Google Classroom as well. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.